Sounds like you have a typewriter going there, Matt. Matt, you're frozen, my friend. Hey, Matt, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, you have no sound, and you're kind of pixelating over there, so I can't see you real well. We're just waiting for Matt to see if you can hear me, Matt, maybe you could try it from your phone. That may work a little bit better than the actual internet you're using right now.
Any better?
Oh yeah, that's better, Matt. A little bit of a lag, but I can hear you. How about can you hear me okay? Can you hear us? Yeah. You got a little bit of a lag. So we'll just have to deal with that. And I'm jumping in here. Wanted to. It looks like you want to talk a little bit about the overreacting to the housing start, but I'll do the introduction quick, and then we'll go from there and deal with the tech we have today. So everybody, welcome to Lunch with Lumbermen. Matt Lehman, Layman's Guide, and Ashley Buckle Materials Exchange, mxlumber.com, the only digital B2B place, matching buyers and sellers and digitizing a call around market. So Matt, you had a theme we wanted to talk about today. We're in a time of uncertainty with interest rates, mortgage applications being at an all-time low, which makes absolute sense. There's a couple questions on housing going on. There's a couple questions on specific high beta areas coming off. Some areas still doing okay. So let's talk a little bit. I'll turn it over to you to talk about what your comment is on an overreaction to the market.
I think we just 2 weeks have been so much. It's almost like the entire housing and just seeing just a sudden radical sales. They've shifted construction mode to a closing mode. Talking about rolling back their starts. They're basically warning us here that they're going to be using less lumber, quarter or a third of the year, and that's exactly what's happening. Demand is going to. Yeah, the only difference is that just coming in like crazy, pile of pent up demand. So I think we're going to have a sharp spike down in 2023 with a very.
Well, again, so we're having a hard time here, Matt. I think one of the things that people can hear a little bit more of your commentary. I believe you've put this you've put this out in your report too. You commented on this, correct?
Yes.
So I think one thing we can do is, Jory, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the visual that Matt sent over, which is basically a scouting report. We can talk to that real quickly also, and I can help maybe bridge some of what Matt just said with, which is well, yeah, Dave said try just using audio and not video on the feed. Maybe you could try killing your video, Matt, to see if we can just hear your audio. Let's see. Can you try doing that on your phone or not?
There you go.
Dave, we'll give that a go, Dave, and see what happens. And again, this is, I think, Matt, you're in an Airbnb or one of those VRBOs, so you're trying to work off.
No, I'm
okay.
that make it.
Say it again, Matt.
Did that mean?
Oh, not much. Not much. A little bit. A little bit, but not what. So we're going to have to work on. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I know what he's asking. It doesn't. It's not making a difference on that one.
All right, hang on.
Hey, Matt. Let's try on your phone call here. I can't. I'm having. Can you blow that up a little bit, Jory? I'm not sure if this was the conversation that we were even talking on the housing, and maybe it is. Maybe I'm looking at it incorrectly. Yeah, scouting report. Okay, good. Thanks, Jory. Appreciate it. Matt, I'm going to try giving you a call, see if we can bring you on that way.
About 75% of them were negative, expecting that they're going to just be concentrating, focusing on closing and completing what they've got doing, what they've got going. I got a lot of feedback from that. But the general expectation is there's going to be starting less, completing what they have going, and probably doing less in the fourth quarter than they expected they were going to do at the beginning of the year, which was even lower.
Yeah, no doubt. So what I'm hearing from home build. Now, Jory said they can hear you on the computer now, Matt. All right, you know what, Matt? Let's just instead of keeping all these people on, maybe we should boot it to next week since we're having a little problem. What we'll do is we'll run through a couple tests next week and see if we got it up and running. But in the meantime, if everybody can go to Matt Lehman to Lehman's Guide and sign up for it. Oh, hold on a second. There you go, Matt. Matt.
That might be feedback from my computer.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're having a lot of problems, right? I didn't want to keep people on if that was continuing to be the issue. But yeah, I'm hearing the same thing, Matt. Home builders are living off order file right now, but also trying to go out and get sales, which are diminishing, right? So at some point, you run out of both of them.
Yeah, everybody's focusing. I mean, almost without exception, everybody's number one comment for me is sales. It's not anything about construction. It's not anything about land. It's all about sales. And I've seen sales numbers down as much as 50% quarter over quarter, month over month. It's just like a sudden reversal, and I think it just caught them by surprise. They were expecting it to be slower, but the foot traffic is just horrendous. It's you saw that down below, like Greg was saying, just down below 50%, which is the first time in a while. But I think the biggest thing about the home builder sentiment factor was they were expecting a 1 point downtick, 6 and went down to 55.
Yeah.
So the drop was just dramatic. So
Yeah,
two thoughts that I have are that the focus is going to be on closings, not construction, for the next few months, and the cancellations that we're getting all wild up. I just saw DR Horton reported like 23% cancellation rate versus 14 for last month, something like that. So they were surprised by the cancellations. But the thing about those cancellations is actually those are all people that wanted to buy a house at some interest rate at some monthly payment over the last 6 months. The people that are canceling those homes are the ones that don't have the equity in them that have bought within the last 3 months. They don't have the equity in them. People that have been waiting for a year, that are getting in their houses now are either reselling them, putting them back on the market, or they're taking them and moving them because they've got $100,000, $50,000 bad the housing is trying to justify a recession.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at like what you're saying is what I see every day. Zillow, for instance, came out and revised what they're going to see in Q4, right? And that was the third revision, right? The economists that I see out there, every time they put something out on housing, they're always like, yeah, we said that this was going to happen. But then you go look back at what they said months ago, and they said it wasn't going to happen. So I don't think.
This is just a less than month-old phenomenon that's hit the housing market just by storm. And the thing that I think is good about it is it just shows that the Fed's acceleration of interest rates to try to choke down spending is going to work. They're going to do it sooner than later. And I think we're going to have a real sharp, probably another point worth of interest rate increases this next Wednesday when they speak again. And then we're gonna realize that we've frozen, taken the buying power away from the consumer, and it's gonna just snap us right back out into deflation. And I think we'll have a sharp housing recovery, get back to people buying homes again. These home builders they've got 10% to give on the price of these houses. They've got plenty of money in it. They've got making record profits. Everybody's talking about record profits for the year, for the quarter, making a budget, all that kind of thing. And the other thing they're mentioning is they're having to go back to incentives to sales, like giving a fire pit and insults.
Yeah. So basically, Matt, if some people can't hear you, you're saying it's a phenomenon in the last month, but inflation at 9%, Fed fund rate at 1.75%. Fed's behind the curve, has to figure something out. They are doing nothing different than they said they were going to do for the past 5 or 6 months. So any of this happening is exactly what they wanted to happen, right? It isn't a surprise, but like what I was saying is I see some economists come out, and especially ones that specialize in building, and they follow the curve, but they're not in front of the curve on this. Like, so an economist, when they saw us 6 months ago, if they would have said, hey, we see housing slowing down by X in third and fourth quarter, well, then they don't get invited to speak at all the housing events, right? Because people don't want to hear that. So, but again, none of us actually know, right? Many of us own homes or rent homes, so we want it to be in our best interest on our own pig farms, right? So with that said, in lumber, I see you said Mike Haas has joined your scouting team. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Mike? Mike's a good guy. I like him a lot. What's he doing with you now?
His field of expertise is going to be European lumber. And, if you scroll to the top of that page, you'll see that what you're looking at there is the scouting report, which is it's a new product we put out. We're in probably just our third week of production, but we're bringing prices back to the industry and offering it for free. Like we talked about before, we feel like it's something that it's kind of old business when you get it, so we're just kind of regurgitating what you already know. We're trying to accentuate the trend and the velocity and momentum. What we're not going to do, though, is talk about forecasting and bring fairness to subscribers. So this is going to be something that's just
So Matt, just I'd like to jump in because that's really cool that you said that. For the people that can't hear you, because I literally have my phone held up to my computer, and Jory said that we're having a hard time hearing. Thanks, Jory. Appreciate that, because I wasn't sure. So what Matt is saying that Mike is doing, and they're now publishing, as you can see, the European spruce numbers, right? And as far as I know, there is no publication out there right now that publishes those numbers. So this is a great addition, Matt, to Layman's Guide for users, because in order to get European numbers because of the way Europeans sell product through. A couple of them sell direct, but they want to only sell to 2 or 3 different people. And some of them sell through other wholesalers and distributors who take the risk, and then they go through many Europeans don't want to have a U.S. entity, so they run it through other people. So the people on the buying end never see the transparency of what the prices are. So as these prices get better and you see more of them on there, I think this is great for people that used to have to rely on their guy or girl to see European pricing, can now come here and at least get a benchmark maybe where some of it's at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, these prices are pretty much FOB wholesale prices at the port, so they're for broker markups.
And the reason why you don't really have to change the port prices on euro. And I think I've said this before. It doesn't matter if a vessel comes and lands in Baltimore or lands in Houston, Texas. It's pretty much the same price. So port prices are port prices. Where is if something comes out of British Columbia, Canada, or Quebec or Ontario and goes to Dallas, it's a different price than going to Atlanta, than going to Baltimore. So if you think about that and you noodle on that, and you know what the European prices are on the ports, and then you look at the Eastern and Western, you can triangulate and negotiate and figure out what some of the best prices should be and where the undervalued and overvalued are.
This is an interesting thought too. The Europeans cut for 16s, so 16s are usually in abundance and all special. You can buy straight truckloads of 2x4 16 SPF. Usually it's a pretty deep discount. So you just look hard. Yeah.
So what Matt's saying is Europeans cut different metric logs out in the forest, and what that usually means is they're cutting a lot more 16s. So 16s, all of a sudden you see in 2x4, 2x6, 2x8, 2x10, and 2x12, which if you think about it, there shouldn't be any Canadian Eastern or Canadian Western 2x4 16s going anywhere to the Southeast or to Texas unless they're probably going into a truss, right? If they're going into a stick-built home, it should be their biggest competitor should be 16 footers out of Europe. Why is that important? Because when you look at the CME contract, one of the biggest components of the CME contract percentage-wise are 16 footers.
Yeah, you get more 16s on a futures card than you do on a regular card.
So it's important why I'm going back to this with Mike Haas joining Matt's team and showing European spruce. Some people aren't going to like it that you're showing European spruce, Matt, because that was kind of a guarded secret that the little good old boy network kept.
Yeah.
So
Trash is out. Secret's out.
value, that's a value to sign up for Matt. So Matt, we'll kind of leave it at that. Housing is still in flux. We talked about stuff, but let's put up how you can get a hold of Layman's Guide. And if for anything, one thing just to start looking at the European spruce for people that haven't signed up for Matt's guide. And again, Matt lets you sign up and he forces you to take it for free for a while first, which is great. Matt at Layman'sGuide.com.
Actually, the scouting report is going to be free to everyone.
That's right, Matt.
At least for a year.
The scouting report's free. Secondly, if you want transparent information also every day and want to see the price of European on a real-time basis delivered to you, come to mxlumber.com. And I'll throw that up, mxlumber.com. Register. Once you register, you'll go into our Salesforce database and we'll call you and get you set up to be buying and selling. There is no cost to be set up. There is no cost to look at pricing. It's just a $150 flat fee transaction for buying or selling something. There's no reason not to do that. And for the people that don't want to do that, we're not interested in doing it with you. So let's sign up for Matt's report, sign up to mxlumber.com and register. And Matt, we'll work on the tech next week and get you set up a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right. Real good, people.
That's good.
Thanks.
Everybody.